It's the question that's on everyone's mind. Do we really need another Namco museum? Well, here we have the Namco Museum Arcade Pac. Get it? It's a play on words. Pac, like Pac-Man, but it's also like a pack of games, right? So this is the Namco Museum that did come out digitally earlier, like about a year ago, but this is now physical available, and then there's also the bonus, the Pac-Man Championship games on here too, but we'll go through the museum really quickly here. We have Pac-Man, a classic. I don't need to tell you about Pac-Man, one of the most influential games of all time, especially for its time. So many clone games were made for Pac-Man, still fun today. We have Galaga, one of the classic shooters there. Dig Dug, one of my favorite arcade games of all time. Played that a lot. Tower of Druga, a little unknown there, not a little uncommon. Sky Kid's great. We have Rolling Thunder, another one of my favorite arcade games. Galaga 88, the reason why they're not together is because they're in timeline order. Splatterhouse, a fan favorite. We have Tank Force, pretty fun. And then Rolling Thunder 2, which was available for the Sega Genesis as well. So we have Versus Pac-Man, or Pac-Man Versus at the end of the list there. So we'll start with Pac-Man. Do I really need to tell you about Pac-Man? Well, there's a couple of modes on here. You have Normal and Challenge mode. Now, Normal mode, as you can see, it's Pac-Man. It's Pac-Man. The challenge mode will make it so it's like, hey, get as many points as you can in a certain amount of time, or do the special trick. But there's also tons of game options here you can choose from as well too. So it's not just Pac-Man. You can make Pac-Man a little bit more updated. They even have this too. They have the fact that you can turn on or off the screen crash, which I thought was pretty neat. I've never gotten that far to see the screen crash for myself personally. That's pretty cool. This is Pac-Man, and it plays fine. It plays like, well, Pac-Man, as it should. It's easy enough, right? That's how that works. You can also flip the screen around, too, if you want to, if your TV can go sideways, or if your Switch can go sideways. So, you get the long view. Of course, it doesn't look like this on the channel, but, you know what I mean when you can turn it sideways. You have Galaga. I mean, total... It's a version of... This is the Namco version of Space Invaders. But, in my opinion, probably better than Space Invaders. You get the little alien ships all lined up in a formation and all that, then they kind of start dropping down on you. Yeah, that's about right. Good old Dig Dug. You're digging, and you're dugging. You can also set scan lines too. If that yellow is a little bit too bright for you, you can adjust your scan lines to give you that scan line look, that scan line feel. Doesn't look as well through this monitor, but when I was playing it through my TV, it was cool to see scan lines. But I don't need them. I can do without them. There's also a way you can like do the original size or blow it up so it's super big. Why you would do that, I'm not exactly sure, but you can kind of do that to replace the the outlining pictures there too. But this is Dig Dug. You just dig around and you have to inflate the enemies, blow them up. I like this game. And I like the other versions too. I like Dig Dug 2. There's also a Dig Dug game for the DS that I was really a big fan of. Tower of Druaga, I think it's called. This one's a little bit more uncommon, only because it wasn't available for the NES. It was available for the Famicom, though. There's a hint button, too, if you're not familiar with the game. You can do that. So I have this for the Famicom. Never came out in America. You just hold out your sword and run into enemies. This is how you do. That's how you play this game. You have Sky Kid. This was available for the NES. Interesting shooter because you fly the other direction. Very cute game. One button is shoot, the other button is do a little loop-de-loo. I guess you do that to avoid enemies. And then you, the purpose of the game is pick up the bomb and drop it on the enemy fortress. Let's see how well I do here. Oh, well, there you go. Not what I had in mind. We'll try it again, I suppose, right? Yeah, it's better. After you do that, you land and you're good to go for Sky Kid. Fun game. 2-player game, too. Rolling Thunder, another fan favorite here. Kind of a James Bond-y, kind of, not really a run and gun, it's like a walk and gun. But you can go inside the doors to hide from enemies, or go inside the doors and pick up new weapons. The thing is, when you go inside the doors, the enemies just walk back and forth in front of the door, so use it very sparingly, but very, very fun game. I'm a huge fan of this game, so happy that this is on the list. See, with these Namco museums, I'd love to see more arcade games on the list. We have 100 ways to play Pac-Man. We have 100 ways to play Dig Dug. But we don't have 100 ways to play Galaga 88. Now, this came out for the PC Engine in Japan, which is the Japanese Turbo Graphics 16. On our version, we had Galaga 90, but this one you can actually choose to start with your twin ships, which makes it easy for you. If it means if it means you don't die as quick, you can do that. If you liked Galaga, this is just Galaga and more of the same, but it has the cool effects and cool fireworks and all that. Good old Splatterhouse. This game gets a lot. Splatterhouse was one of the first kind of blood and guts games I remember seeing or playing, where it's like, ooh, they're really splattering. I mean, hence the name, I suppose. But you hit them up against the wall, and you can chop them and stuff like that. You play as this kind of Jason Voorhees looking guy with the mask and all that. I'm sure it's totally intentional, but Then Tank Force. Tank Force was a game I wasn't too familiar with, but it looks like this and it plays like this. You know what I mean? It's like, great 4-player multiplayer game. It's actually a lot of fun too. I mean, even on the 1-player mode, I was having fun just playing and driving around and going through the things. All right, one down, all those others to go. I'll play some more of this later. Rolling Thunder 2 came out for the Sega Genesis, probably the arcade as well. I remember playing it on the Genesis, though. And it's just like Rolling Thunder, again, but more of it. He plays the female lead here if you'd like. 2-player game as well. That makes it kind of fun. Try to bring back the couch co-op. And then we have Pac-Man Versus. This is looks like it's optimized for the Switch, as you can tell by the photo there. You got the original or the single console, so everyone's playing on the same screen. Play on different Joy-Cons. The cool thing with Pac-Man Versus, well, and you have like different maps too. Forgot about that part. So it's not just the same, but on this game you can actually play as the ghosts and chase Pac-Man. So that's kind of a new innovation, new idea. This game has been made available for other systems too, but it's cool to see it on here as well. Kind of like a little bonus. It's like, oh, I didn't know this existed. You can play as the ghosts, and I'm trying to find Pac-Man here. That's the thing with this game is it doesn't. It's not like a map where you can see where Pac-Man is all the time. You just have to see your peripheral and then or kind of screen cheat and see if you can see Pac-Man on the other player screens and where they are in conjunction with where you are. Oh, there he is. All right, fine. All right, then here's the extras for you. This one is super, super fun. I remember playing this a lot on my PlayStation 3, I believe. Pac-Man, and also we have the +2, the +2 players for the Pac-Man Championship Edition. A couple of different ideas you can do on here. You can do the screen or the score attack. You can just play adventure mode where you just go through the levels. And this is arcade style, super action packed. You move super fast. And the map keeps changing, and the enemies keep changing too. You actually bump the enemies out of the way, because that's not, it's not like you're trying to... Of course, the fun of this game is when you finally can eat the enemies with your power pellet, and you have to eat an entire line, like an entire Congo line full of ghosts. And that's such a satisfying ordeal when you finally do that. And then we have kind of the same thing, but 2-player. And it's funny because it's a 2-player game, but you can still play it solo. And then the computer will control the second Pac-Man character. And the gimmick behind this one is not only are you trying to get a better score than them, but when it comes to things like fruit, when it comes to things like anything else, you cram it into each other. And that's how... It's like you force feed each other at the same time. Kind of weird. It makes sense when you're playing it too. In fact, a lot of this game, just looking at it, you're like, I don't know what's going on. This is weird. This is crazy. But when you're actually playing it, it makes a lot more sense. All right, so what do I think? $40 is what I paid for this? Yeah, I think it's worth it, I think. It's cool to have a physical version of the Namco Museum. I like the extras on there. I wish they would have included more arcade games. Like, where's my Dragon Spirit? Where's Assault? And for sure, if they would have included Pac-Man Battle Royale, this would have been an instant winner. We need that Pac-Man Battle Royale on a home console. The Switch is the one to do it. 4-player simultaneous, couch co-op, or online. I wish this would have included online support too. Couch co-op is great, but, I mean, my couch is broken. I need some online players for myself. So, pretty cool idea. It's missing some of the other classics too. Like, there are no Xevious, there is no Rally X. But for what it is, $40, I think I'm okay with that. But what do you think? Let me know. Check it out in the comments. Thank you for watching, and more Switch videos are always on the way. Make sure you subscribe.